Just hours before Friday's Putin-approved display by Donald Trump and J.D. Vance in the Oval Office, Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky met with a bipartisan delegation of senators. It was big smiles and warm handshakes. The Republican chairman of the Senate Armed Services Committee, Roger Wicker, described the meeting as a show of support. And yet, just a few hours later, after Trump and Vance berated Zelensky in the Oval Office, some of those very same Republicans who had been all smiles and handshakes quickly changed their tune. Senator Wicker, who had just last month said that Vladimir Putin should be imprisoned, if not executed, tried to quietly delete his post touting his attendance. Quick note to the senator, the internet doesn't forget, it turns out. And then there's Senator Lindsey Graham, who was literally posing for pictures with Zelensky earlier in the day, and who then ran to the cameras after the Oval Office spectacle and bizarrely attacked Zelensky, even suggesting that he should resign. This is the same senator who just 2 weeks ago said that the best way to contain Vladimir Putin was to arm Zelensky to the teeth. Man, what a difference one blow-up in the Oval Office can make. And joining me now is Democratic Senator Mark Kelly of Arizona. He's a member of the Armed Services and Intelligence Committees, and he was part of the group of bipartisan senators who met with President Zelensky on Friday. Senator Kelly, thank you so much for joining me. I think we're all reflecting on Friday and that meeting. It was like nothing I've ever seen in my time working for two presidents, watching Republicans in that Oval Office. But I wanted to start by just asking you about that meeting with Zelensky you attended by a bipartisan group. What was that like, and what was the response in the private room to him?
Well, Jen, I think we all have a little bit of PTSD, even though we weren't in the Oval Office meeting, right? I think all of us, a lot of people across the country collectively. The contrast between the two meetings was quite remarkable. With Zelensky that morning, I think there were about 10, maybe a dozen of us, Democrats and Republicans. It was very constructive. I would say one of the most interesting things about it was that at the beginning of the meeting, the chairman of the Armed Services Committee, Roger Wicker, senator from Mississippi, asked the cameras to leave. And then we got down to business. Zelensky, as he always is, this guy is habitually thankful to the American people, to the United States Congress, to the president. So it was constructive. Not a single one of us expected what happened in the Oval Office to happen. And I have to say that was a mistake. I think it was a miscalculation by the president. Bullying an ally of ours makes us look weak. And when we are weak, we are less safe. The American people should make no mistake about that. What happened in the Oval Office was a complete and utter disaster. And it puts us in a much worse situation, not only with the Russians and the Ukrainians, but with our European allies. And I hope we can repair it. There are people in that room that I think are responsible adults. They weren't speaking out. Marco Rubio, I voted for him. He got strong bipartisan support in the Senate. I wish he would have said something. Mike Waltz, the same. I think he spoke a little bit in the room. But I think it's going to be up to them and other folks in the administration like them to try to put this back together.